This is 29 Acacia Road, and this is Eric, the schoolboy who needs an exciting double life. But when Eric eats a banana, an amazing transformation occurs. Eric becomes Sing When You're Winning, ever alert for the call to action. Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the SWYW, a Fantasy Football League Oddity podcast, still featuring distant cousins of podcast royalty and a very special guest this week, who we will reveal very shortly. As I say, if you're watching this on YouTube, which you can do now, you'll probably see him on screen. But waiting in line for the podcast throne this week are myself, Jamie. We've got Chris is back, as is Steve. And Dan's back from France, but is busy, and Lee is busy as well. And Stu is still trying to connect somewhere. Anyway, let's all introduce ourselves, name of our team. And as this week was a bit of an international break, and a chance to focus on other leagues, who is your favourite non-league team, if you've got one? So when the big teams aren't playing, do you look out for any non-league sides? Anyone?
I used to look out for Feltham, because that's where I was from. I mean, they're absolutely toilet, and they always were. I can't even remember what league they were in. Like, I think the Isthmian Southern League Division 3. That's who I used to go and see when Brentford were away. I used to go and watch them, and they were fucking awful. But that is probably, and I think they've disappeared off the map so far now that you can't even find their results anymore. So yeah, that was mine.
Excellent. I'm gonna introduce our special guest now because he's dived in, which is good. The only thing I know about Feltham is the
Young Offenders Centre.
Hard Fight song Feltham is singing out. That's the only thing I could think of when you were saying that.
Yeah.
But let's introduce our special guest. According to Wikipedia, you are not to be confused with Adam Devlin, the American comedian, actor, producer, and screenwriter. It says that right at the top. So
Right.
Don't confuse the two of you.
Yeah, it's an easy mistake to make. So.
Yeah, easy mistake to make. But our guest is an English musician, best known as the guitarist and songwriter for the Bluetones, according to Wikipedia. But even more important than that, put your hands together for Sing When You're Winning legend with stats including league champion in 2016, 2017, and 2018, and the cup winner in 2022. It's Adam Devlin. Yes, there we go. Oh,
talking.
Well done, indeed.
Keep talking, guys.
We have Fantasy Football League royalty in the house. We absolutely do. So thank you for that, Adam. Do you want to say what your team name is for people?
Everyone knows my team. My team are men.
Your team of men.
We are men.
Brilliant. Cool. Thank you. We'll come back to chat to you in more detail about what you're up to with the Bluetones and Fantasy Football League very, very shortly.
Sure.
Chris, do you want to say do you follow any non-league sides when the big teams aren't playing?
Kind of. When I was growing up, I grew up in the Scottish borders, and so there weren't really many teams around, which is why I ended up supporting Liverpool and St Johnstone. So where my mum's from, up in Perth, well, near Perth. But anyway, Berwick Rangers was probably my team. They're not exactly non-league, but they were the closest team to where I lived, and they were my first ever game, and it was the third round of the Scottish Cup in something like 1990, something like that. My dad took me along to Shieldfield Park, and it was the third round would have been late January, I think. So you're standing in the stand in Shieldfield Park. The snow was coming sideways off the North Sea, and I honestly don't think there's been a moment where I've been as cold as I was watching Berwick Rangers play a home tie against St Johnstone. But it was brilliant. It was 4-3 to St Johnstone. So I got the whole... I thought all football matches were like that. Really exciting and really fucking cold. So.
I like the way Adam's opened the way to use the F word today. So we're all doing it. Here we go.
Yeah, we've broken the seal.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's dropped twice now. Once we know we're putting the obscene thing on the label for the episode, anything goes.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Adam's labelled it straight away, hasn't he?
Okay.
Took us 7 weeks to iron out those, and now we're there. Back. Get Adam on.
Yeah, we're back. First use of the F word, and then used twice in the first 5 minutes. That's a record.
Sorry, guys.
Cheers, Chris. Steve, no.
Well, I don't really follow non-league, but it's fairly easy because York are now in non-league side. So yeah, just keep an eye out for York's results. Really, seem to be back on the up, having dropped down to non-league North a couple of years ago and sneaked their way back up, and now they've got a young, ambitious chairman. I think he's only 30 years old or something, and they're trying to do the right thing. They made a bit of a mess of it last year, and then this year they've started quite well. So see how they get on.
Haven't they? Very, very good start. But yeah, my name's Jamie, and my team is Jamie's Giants, and I quite like non-league, to be fair. Living in the northeast, there's a lot of non-league teams about. It's quite a good scene, but I probably would say Spennymoor Town was the closest. Spennymoor, yeah.
Yeah, I think Ed's has gone to see Spennymoor, and he says it exactly the same as you. I'll tell you, we did go and see, like last year, we went to see North Ferriby, which are a bit of a hipster club.
Yeah, it's not far.
Bit of a hipster club in your part of the world. We went and watched them playing in, I think it was one of the early rounds of the FA Cup, and they won like 4-0. And that was a good day out. It was a nice, lovely little club. Nice food. Bovril with horseradish sauce in it.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh, yeah. North Ferriby's quite a posh village, though, isn't it? Just on the outskirts.
Is. Yeah, and it's quite a lot of sort of hipster little club as well. Like they get pretty decent crowds there, and it was good. It was good fun.
No, you can't beat it. But good. It's FA Cup weekend as well in the qualifying round, isn't it? This weekend, so there's be some good games to get to. Probably more interesting than the Prem. But anyway, moving swiftly on, as I say. So we're going to have a bit of a look at the season so far, because we don't really have any football to talk about. We're not going to talk about the international break. It's a little bit too dull and boring at this stage.
Awful. Are England playing tonight, or is that tomorrow?
So they played a couple of nights ago, Steve.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Good, great result. They were playing Finland 4-0. Great result.
Finland. It's amazing. Yeah. To Finland. I don't know how that happened. But let's moving on. So let's talk about the season so far. So Steve, I think you're going to review the league tables in a bit more detail before we look ahead to the forthcoming Sing When You're Winning league fixtures this week.
Wow, we're right. I was going to do that the other way around, but let's.
You can do it the other way around if you like.
I could tell you what England's team is. I know it was 2 days ago, but
it's breaking right now, though. At this point in time.
Let me find the league tables, and then we can go through them.
Doing that, we've got Kane's 100th cap. Do we care? I mean, I prefer Adam's cap to Kane's 100th cap, to be fair.
Here we go.
I'm liking the cap. It's good.
Well, like I say, I'm in Dubai, and I need to keep the sun out of my eyes. And we're doing a bit of warm weather training with the boys.
lot of ivy growing in Dubai there.
Yeah, that's quite a new thing that they've got here.
Okay. Nice.
Imported.
Yeah, along with the weather.
Hey, just looking at some skyscrapers there, Adam.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, just over there in the distance. I'd love to show you.
Excellent. Right. I've found some league tables now, so we can have a look at those.
Well, let's do this then.
So, and it's only early days, three games in, so really, it was really interested in that sort of early thing. I think we all know that it's at least 10 games until you can actually worry about how you're actually doing. But top of the league, we've got Mark Summerton, who was last year's champion, so that's a bit of a concern. He's not lost a game yet. And then we've got a host of teams on 6 points, which are basically most of the league. Michelle's second, our very own Chris is third. Quite happy with that, I suppose, Chris?
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. And I've not made a transfer yet either, so I'm kind of...
Really?
Yeah. I've pressed the button as well.
So, in fact, all really on a wild card? Yeah. Oh, shocking. Oh, were you Haaland free, though?
I was, and I have to say, in the first pod, I said it's unlike the entire season, and that was a lie. That was an absolute lie. So yeah, he's in the draft, but yeah, I've got them both in. I'm actually really pleased with the team. It's looking all right. I don't feel like I had to skimp too much.
No. Well, all of the top half have all got 6 points apart from Mark then. So then in the bottom half is where we'll find me and Adam and Dan as well, if it had turned up. And at the bottom we've got Faris, who's actually doing quite well, but has got no points at all.
It's a tough league.
That's the game.
That's it. Championship-wise, there's 3 teams that have all won all 3. Jim, who came second in the Division 3 last year. Tom, who won Division 3, he's got 9 points. And Stu, who was famously relegated last season, he's also got 9 points. Alistair Griffin, the manager of the month, has 6.
What's the championship?
Yeah, I did mean to say...
League, Adam, the greatest league.
I did mean to say that Adam's probably unaware that there are divisions below him.
Oh, there are. Oh, I'll have to have a look at
Well,
that.
I'm kneeling at your feet, Adam. That's what we're doing.
How cute. It's very quaint, isn't it?
Once they're off the fixture list, they're dead to Adam.
As you were.
Alistair, last week's guest and manager of the month, he's got 6 points. Carl is 5th, where he always is, and Jamie's 6th. Well done, you. Down at the bottom, quite a few people on 3 points. Tim Ward has no points so far, and Mark Morris is down there, 3 points.
Yeah. Good.
Who used to be in the Premier League, Adam? Can you remember those days?
I do vaguely remember that guy.
League One, Lee Nicholson leads the way. Rich Pipes is second, and Jamie Hurst is third. They've all got 9 points. Paul Spence is unbeaten. He's got 7 points. Mike Bushell is surprisingly in the playoffs.
Wow.
And down at the bottom, there's 3 teams that haven't won. Chesney, Stu Kelly, and Craig Wilson are all pointless. And Nigel Clark from Dodgy has 1 point so far. And in the bottom league, all the newcomers, Natalie Pike, Duke Witter, Pete Martini, and Vicky Sparks have all got maximum points. Sophie Ridge has 7 points. And at the bottom, Rob Lally, Finn Dunn, Chris Murray, Becky Bass, and Adam Constive are all pointless at the bottom as well.
Oh. Are you not giving Finn a bit of advice there, Steve?
On
Fantasy Football League?
You want some advice?
Yeah, get more points.
I should say, just go with your heart.
That's not advice. No one should get your
I would say at this stage of the season, you need to not worry about the league table and just worry about your team and shuffle it around. Get rid of the people that aren't performing, that's prices diving. Get some cheap bargains in that aren't going to play that you don't need, and then use them to buy Haaland and Salah and Saka and Son and Palmer and Foden and Trent and Porro and all those people.
That's
Wise
quite
words.
specific advice. That's quite specific.
And then get a few 4 million people in as well. About 3.
Good stuff. So should we have a look ahead at some of the top fixtures coming up in our Sing When You're Winning leagues then? We don't have to go through them all, but are there any that take your eye this coming weekend?
Fixtures wise, in the top, we'll talk about the top division because that's what Adam's interested in.
Yeah.
Adam is playing. Adam, who actually got, let's get it out of the way now. He got 93 points in the last match, which was the highest scoring out of all the 84 teams.
Yeah.
It's the only reason they managed to get him on, I think, this week.
Did you triple captain somebody?
No, I just, but I changed the whole team. Played my wild card because it wasn't working. And, I never look at the table, you know that. And I never look at my opposition. But, it wasn't working, so I just changed it up, switched it up. And we're back, baby.
Was that your first 3 points, actually?
Yes.
Yeah, well done.
Yes, Steve. I mean, I don't really look at the results or the tables or anything, but I am told that that was my first win.
Yeah, well, I think a good reason to say don't panic with your league tables yet is that Adam was actually bottom at Christmas last year, weren't you?
Bottom on Christmas Day, challenge for Europe, And a lot of people have accused me of, because I wasn't around for the first 6 months of the season. I was out in Lanzarote looking after some properties and stuff. And, obviously a lot of people have accused me of, when I came back in January, the team picked up. Sometimes I have to leave the team in other people's hands, and obviously it's not the same as when I'm there. So yeah, we had a remarkable second half of the season last year, thanks to me.
Did you have trouble with customs while you were in Lanzarote?
I had a few problems, I'm not going to lie, but I just thought, when we were rock bottom at January, and I was getting calls going, mate, you need to come back. So I just thought, right, let's go back, see if we can sort this out. And very nearly qualified for Europe in the end.
Going to say probably 5th or 6th were you in the end?
I think so. I mean, I don't look at the tables. Not at the moment, anyway.
Probably just as well, yeah.
I used to look at them.
Look at them in May.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're playing Steve Taylor. He's a fellow B, actually.
Is he now? I thought it was only me and Rich Archer with it.
Skills McGill on
Skills
Twitter.
McGills, yes, of course. Yeah, I do know him. All right.
Yeah. Champion Mark is top. We mentioned already. Andrew Chester playing Paul Chambers. They've both got 6 points. Eds is playing Tom Bird. Eds has got 3 points, I think, so far. The big game there, well, apart from me playing Dan, which would have been fun if Dan had have actually turned up today, we play each other. But the bottom two play each other, Nikolai and Faris. So
battle at the bottom.
And Faris doesn't have a point yet.
Right.
In the championship, Jim is playing Nicola, and also unbeaten Stu is playing Graham Swan. BAFTA-winning Tom Gregory is playing you, Jamie.
Oh, could be a tough game.
It will.
2-game winning streak.
They're all tough games, guys. They're all tough games.
Yeah.
At the bottom, Tim, with no points, is playing Phil Pinder, our Potions Cauldron Cup sponsor. In League One, the top side, Lee is playing Andy Cousins, who's just behind him on 6 points. And 100% record. Rich Pipes is playing Steve Wybrand, so they're both on 6 points and both in the playoff spots. Mm-hmm. And for the no-win people, Chesney is playing Alex Renton, Stu plays Frankie Francis, and Craig plays Ben Hope. And there's a rare top-half clash for Mike Bushell, who's playing Nathan Clark. In the Conference League, the 100%ers, Natalie Pike's playing Maddox, who won his first game last week. Duke is playing Sophie Ridge, who's not lost a game yet. Pete Martini plays Indiana Hawks. And Vicky Sparks is playing Neil Robertson, who won his first game last week.
Some big names in the conference.
That about covers this week's fixtures.
Great stuff.
Big games in the conference.
Big games in the conference, indeed.
Yeah, I'll be looking out for those.
Yeah. Sat by 5 phone on Sunday afternoon.
In fact, while we're bigging up Adam, and we'll get it all out of the way now so we don't have to carry on doing it. Although it'd be rare for Adam to come on a podcast where he's actually the second best manager.
Well, I mean, obviously I would dispute that.
In 2017, when Adam won the league, he won it with a record 94 points.
Wow.
And he lost 6 games all season.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the guy who came second, Rich Williams, got 91 points.
And
he had a nerve breakdown, didn't he?
Yeah. And he left as well. Much like Tony DeRigo. When Adam won the league, Tony DeRigo quit. And then Rich Williams quit after having come second with 91 points.
Yeah. And I think he had a significantly higher score than me as well. So obviously that was absolutely heartbreaking for Rich. I hope he's okay. Same for Tony DeRigo.
Yeah.
Tragic. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, it is,
Let's have a look ahead to game week 4, shall we? So if you need some tips, most transferred in players at the moment, according to the FPL app, João Pedro, 756,000 people are transferring him in this week. And Luis Diaz is second, and Haaland, those who still don't have him, there's over 500,000 people transferring him in this week. And the ones to get rid of, potentially, Isak is the most transferred out. Watkins not far behind, and Saka is a surprise. He's third most transferred out. I'd have thought people would have stuck with him a little bit longer, maybe. But anyway, that's what's happening there. And then should we have a look at the FPL team of the season so far? I know we're only 3 games in, but how many of these players do you have in your team? Who do you think is the best keeper in the league at the moment?
I mean,
best goalkeeper.
In terms of like clean sheets or saves?
Total points in FPL.
I know that our keeper Flecken has made the most saves, but he hasn't kept a clean sheet, so I don't know how that breaks down.
Yeah, well, this goalkeeper scored 21 points so far, and it's Becker from Liverpool. So,
right. Oh, I've got him.
Hey. Then basically Liverpool are doing very well in FPL.
They haven't let in a goal, have they? 3 games, no goal.
Exactly. So the best defence, all 3 are Liverpool players. So Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, and Van Dijk are the top 3 defenders. And then in midfield, we've also got continuing Liverpool, Mo Salah at 41, Luis Diaz at 32. So essentially, over half of the team, of the best team so far, are Liverpool players. So if you've got a Liverpool player in your team, you're laughing.
I've got a Liverpool defender. It's Quansah.
Well done, Steve.
You've picked the right one there.
I think he was a very popular pick, wasn't he? I had him for the first couple of games because everyone thought he would go into that team, and he was cheap. And then he got hooked, didn't he, at half time?
Yeah, he's played half a game.
Yeah, and he's not been seen since. So he did look like a really good option, for not much money. But I
was kind of Slot just demonstrating that it's mighty now.
Yeah,
ain't no passages here. Don't know. I don't think he played that bad in the first half, but anyway.
I selected him based on the fact that I read a few little good write-ups on him, but then when I was on holiday, there was a woman, quite a loud woman, next to me in the bar area, and she was telling the people she was with that her daughter was going out with Quansah.
Right.
So I thought, this is a sign.
It was a sign of run.
So you brought him in on the strength of that, Steve?
Yeah, I just kind of went with my heart.
Yeah, see, that's where that gets you. The rest of the midfield then, Palmer's there, Saka's there, which is why I'm surprised that so many people are getting rid of him. And Adam, you'll be pleased to see a Brentford player in the top team. Is there? Yeah, he's there with 20 points. And then strikers, obviously Haaland is number 1, but who's the second best striker? Who do we think?
Pedro.
No.
Is Havertz actually a striker? Is he listed as
Danny Welbeck, believe it or not? Danny
Welbeck, yeah.
So, sneak him into your teams. There's someone that people are overlooking. But 21 points. 23 points. There we go.
Fair play.
There might be some top tips for you if you're listening in. Let's do some quick predictions we picked 3 games going into the weekend that most people aren't normally bothered about. But Spurs-Arsenal is probably the highlight of the weekend, looking at that fixture list for the Premier League. What do we think? Spurs or Arsenal? Spurs are at home.
3-1 Arsenal.
3-1 Arsenal.
I think similar. I think Arsenal will do them. They're too flaky, Spurs, aren't they?
Yeah.
Lovely to watch.
I think they'll both score.
Yeah.
2-1, 3-1, something like that.
Yeah, so we're all agreed on an Arsenal win for that one. I've randomly picked Wolves Newcastle because that's the other Sunday game on Super Sunday on Sky. I don't know which way this will go because Newcastle have had a good start, but away from home they're not normally as good, and I'm not quite sure. Any thoughts on Wolves Newcastle?
Got no idea. 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah, it stinks of 1-1 that game.
Does.
Yeah, I've got a Wolves centre back, that Mosquera, who's 4 million, so hopefully he'll score one.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got absolutely no skin in this game whatsoever. So 6-6.
6-6 would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Good.
Like it.
I have a feeling Wolves will do Newcastle on Sunday. That's my thought. And Southampton, Man U. Obviously, we had a bit of a chat last week, I think it was, about Erik ten Hag and how long he's got left. He's still got some life left in him, but do we think Southampton at home will do Man U? I have a feeling they might.
I saw Southampton last week, and they play nice football. Their defence is absolutely awful. So I think they'll get done again, 2-3-0 by United.
Yeah.
Honestly, their defence is not up to it. They're just they tippy tap it around. I mean,
they're trying to play it out from the back thing. It doesn't really work in the Premier League.
They can't do it. They're doing
with that level of players. No, it works in the Championship for them. But
we scored 3 past them. That's not good. We very rarely score 3, and we could have got 5 or 6. They were that bad at the back. So yeah, United win for me, 2 or 3.
Okay.
Yeah, stay of execution for Ten Hag, I think.
Yeah, you think the United win as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. So let's move on. We're delighted, as we've said, to be joined by Adam with us this week. But we're going to start off. We've all had homework to get a question prepared for you on this week's pod. But we'll start off with an easy one. Why Brentford? Why did you pick Brentford? Or did they choose you?
Why? Blimey. I mean, I like most people, when I was young, I had no sort of geographical awareness. So when I was a young boy, first of all, I come from a family of West Ham fans because we come from the east side of London. So my father was a West Ham fan. My older brother was a West Ham fan. And I didn't want to be a West Ham fan. I don't know why. It was sort of a little rebellious kink. I supported Chelsea for a while because they hated Chelsea, and I had the kit and everything. Believe it or not, and I'm sure I've told you this, Steve, I supported Leeds for a while as well, obviously because Leeds were a fucking fantastic team in that period of the 70s, and, you know, the white kit and all that. But this is how I was supporting teams. I supported Liverpool for a bit, obviously, because they were brilliant. I supported Norwich because I liked their kit. And then I know it's ridiculous. And then when I was like 10, and I was just about to start secondary school, and the secondary school I was going to was a bit of a schlep from my house. It was 2 buses. So in that summer holiday, my older brother, took me on a dry run. He said, "Well, this is how you're going to get to school." So we did this dry run, and as we got up to sort of Ealing, where my school was, I could see this football ground. I could see the floodlights. And I was saying to Simon, my brother, "What? Who's that?" And he was like, "Well, that's Brentford. You know, don't worry about them. They're shit." But it kind of stayed. I had no idea. That was my first sort of perception that there was actually a football team, like, really close to me that I could go and see for nothing. I mean, literally nothing in those days, because you could just bunk over the fence. And so I started going, and I went to my first game Boxing Day 1979, and I'd been to a few football games before that. I'd been to West Ham, obviously, to try and indoctrinate me. I'd been to a couple of Arsenal games at Highbury because an uncle who was an Arsenal fan. But I went to Brentford v Colchester, 1979 Boxing Day, and that was it. And I don't know why, but that was it. I was just like, this is going to be my club. And
so you feel like you've settled then? You've settled for Brentford, or do you reckon there might be room for one more change?
Yeah, I mean, I did know. And, you know, even though I went to school in Brentford and Ealing, you know, you would get the piss taken out of you at school. Why do you support Brentford? Well, because we live here. Like, this school is literally in Brentford. And, you know, right, it was a school full of Liverpool and Man United fans. But, I mean, for whatever reason, I chose to take on that burden at a very young age that I'm going to support this shit team. Because I don't know why. I mean, you've probably all had similar experiences. You just go, there's one game you go to, and it just feels like, yep, this is it. This is my team.
Yeah.
And I'm cursed now forever.
Was that the case? Was that the case in London then, Adam? That everyone was Liverpool and Man U? Because I remember when I was at school, primary school, especially, everybody supported Liverpool or Man United.
It was
like
Liverpool.
your two choices.
Yeah, it was absolutely Liverpool and Man U. Yeah, you get a bit of kind of Arsenal and Chelsea,
Spurs and things.
Yeah, to a lesser extent. So the bigger clubs in London, but yeah, it was pretty much just all Liverpool and Man United fans who may have been geographically ignorant as well, but then maybe you don't, because I managed to break my cycle of supporting all these fucking random teams, either because they were good or because I liked their kit, or or because I had the whole team in a Panini sticker album. And but that was my first realization that there was a football team on my doorstep, and it's a good job. Like if I'd gone 2 miles further, then the first ground I would have been QPR. So imagine that.
Ooh.
Could be worse, guys.
Yeah.
Indeed. Great stuff. So what's the highest high of supporting Brentford?
He's living it now.
Yeah.
I suppose it is, but it's like it's quite conflicting in a way, because obviously Brentford's a Premier League club now. For now, they won't always be. Eventually, they'll drop, because everyone does, don't they? There's like a glass ceiling in the Premier League. Everyone else gets relegated, including Leeds, including Newcastle, Villa, West. However big these clubs are, they all go down at some point. So that will happen to us at some point. And this is obviously, our golden. We've never had it this good. We're, watching these amazing footballers because we were crap for 30, 35 years. We were crap until that, Matthew Benham bought the club and started running it properly. We were awful, and and it was fine. It was like, it's the price on the ticket, that. But it is a little bit of a double-edged sword, because we are in the Premier League now, and it does just feel like, what we're going to do this year, we're going to have a year of just sort of treading water, probably around sort of 15th in the table, essentially trying not to go down. And it's our next 2 games in the Premier League are away to Manchester City and away to Tottenham. So it's like, and Man City away, it's like that will be on TV, and it's sort of like watching a public execution, isn't it, when you play them, because that it could be horrible. We've actually managed to have a pretty good record against them. I think we're the last team that beat them at the Etihad. I think that was just before the Qatar World Cup. So we're the last Premier League team to win there. I don't think we'll win there this week, but in answer to your question, this is it. We've never had it as good as this. I would say the most enjoyable time, actually, for me as a Brentford fan, was that last 2 seasons in the Championship, when we had that amazing team, with Ben Rama, Watkins, and Buemo up front. And when Watkins went, Ivan Toney came in, and the football was amazing. And obviously, when they went into the Premier League, they're smart. Thomas Frank's a very smart manager. They don't play like that anymore. They don't play sort of possession-based football. They adapt and change always to, who the opposition is. And sometimes it's not very nice to watch. It's like pretty attritional, let's get something out of this game football. It's not the amazing attacking football we were watching, those last 2 years in the Championship, when we were beating teams up like 5s and 6s and 7s, and that was my favourite period. A little bit of me kind of wishes that I will not be bothered, one iota when Brentford get relegated from the Premier League. It will happen at some point, because it will be nice to be back in a competitive league, playing better football, and with less fear and this sort of anvil of jeopardy You know, and I think it's different though for different clubs, because obviously I think 4 clubs like Aston Villa, Newcastle, Leeds, obviously West Ham, like going down for them is sort of an existential crisis. It's not for Brentford, because that's where we came from. We've been in the lower leagues for 70 years, so it's not the same. I think they'll probably just go down, be really smart, retool, use all their money and come back, and they'll be one of those kind of teams, and that would suit me just fine. I'd quite like that. I mean, Steve, you're having fun in the Championship, aren't you? Winning most weekends?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, like with the Bielsa time, it was fantastic, and there's 2 seasons in the Championship where we were playing brilliant football, and then the first season in the Premier League when we finished 9th, and everybody was singing our praises and how wonderful we were.
Yeah.
And then from that being great, we just turned into 2 seasons of thinking I've no idea where our next win's coming from. Getting beat 6 or 7 by everybody.
But you know that if you are sort of, in the bottom 10 of the Premier League, one of those seasons, they can just happen. Nearly happened to us last season, because of the injuries and because of not having Ivan Toney until January. And then when he came back, he was horseshit anyway. So it was a very difficult season.
Maybe he had eyes on his future pay packet.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally. Yeah. His mind was elsewhere. I think it was elsewhere before that. There's no doubt he would have gone, if it wasn't for his betting ban, he would have gone the summer before, and we'd have got a lot more money for him as well. I think they ended up getting about 40-45 mil for him, which is amazing, really, considering he's only got a year left on his contract. But most Brentford fans are like, yeah, good riddance.
Bye.
Yeah, we're bored of it now. Well, let's have some players on the pitch that actually want to play for us. Like, he's gone abroad now, so we don't have to play against him in a Premier League rival. So that's good.
Yeah.
We got 45 million quid for a guy who's out of contract in a year.
He's probably lost his England career through it as well.
I don't think he minds. I think he's put a price on it, and that's his price. Whatever it is he's earning is ridiculous. He's only 28. Is he 27, 28?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, well, what can you do?
Yeah, scary stuff. Right, we've all been given some homework, Adam, to come up with a question for you. So has everyone done their homework this week?
Not really.
Yeah.
But I've heard, Steve, on the grapevine that we've had some listener questions in.
This is a first. This is the kind of pull Adam has on this podcast. We've had a couple of questions from listeners. Well, I say listeners.
People you know.
Let me just check those messages. And the first one was from a chap called Eds from Middlesex.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, sounds familiar.
He'd like to say, can Adam explain why he's done a Manchester United and can't seem to live up to former glories?
Well, Steve, I think I explained that really in my previous explanation. I have a lot of other interests, business interests. I play a lot of golf. I spend a lot of time in Hawaii, Lanzarote. I'm not always, my hands are always on the tiller. What is notable, obviously, is when my hands are on the tiller. That's when we're at our best. So
that's when the magic happens.
That's when the magic happens. When my hand is on the tiller. Unfortunately, sometimes because of my lifestyle, I have to delegate duties to other people who, obviously can't quite live up to my standards.
Hopefully that answers Ed's question.
I would also ask Ed, what's he won? What's he won, by the way? I think I remember.
He hasn't won anything. He did actually lose to you in the cup final.
I was going to say, I think I remember beating him in a cup final once. So there you go, mate. There you go, Ed.
Especially for you, Ed. Watch that on YouTube. Yeah. There you go. On the tiller that day, for sure.
And our other question was from Mark in Tunbridge Wells.
Okay, yep.
This one's a little bit more controversial, really, and might cause some heated debate.
Sure.
What does Adam think about the league's proposal of 20 teams per division to add balance to the season? Then the big man babies that voted it down because they didn't want to be relegated from a fake league system.
I mean, it's very rare that I do this, but I do actually agree with the point that what's his name? That guy,
Mark from
Mark.
Tunbridge Wells.
Tunbridge Wells, right? Yeah. Okay.
He might be called Morris from Tunbridge Wells. He's either called Morris Mark or Mark Morris. I'm not sure which one.
A Liverpool fan?
Liverpool, yeah. Well, of course,
I believe so.
Wells.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, whatever. I mean, I would say fundamentally I do agree with him, although I did realise that ballot was only going to go one way. It's turkeys and Christmas, isn't it, guys? No one's going to vote for that. And I do feel that the league would have more integrity if all the leagues had 20 teams, because everyone would be playing the same set of fixtures, right? Which clearly with 24 teams in the league, they're not. There's an imbalance, and just by sheer, averages, some people go end up with a harder set of fixtures than other people. So I don't know who this guy is from Kent, but I do think we're broadly on the same page.
I believe he may be a lower league manager.
Yeah, well, I don't, yeah, I don't really look at the lower leagues, if I'm honest, guys.
In fact, he plays in a division with 20 teams. I don't know what he's moaning about, really.
Oh, does he? Right. Well, what's his beef then?
I think relegation, probably.
It's everybody's beef in the Championship, unfortunately. Right, some more questions then. This is a random question for you, Adam, but what was it like to finish second in Fame Academy?
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually remember that.
Was it in the 90s? Was it like Rick, you don't remember anything in the 90s?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I was pretty heavily sedated in the 90s. So there are quite large... Oh, hang on.
Oh, just sedated himself.
Yeah, there are quite large that I can't recall, and I imagine this is one of them.
No problem. Right, who else has got a question for Adam?
I'll ask you one. So my favourite ever FPL week was when I had Salah as captain. He only scored 2, but I had Mason Mount who scored a hat-trick, and I had Foden who scored a hat-trick. I remember it fondly. I'm just wondering if there's a week of FPL that you remember fondly.
Oh, that's a good cue. No.
Awesome. Nice one.
Sorry,
Thanks for that.
And my phone's... do you know what? I'm genuinely trying to think, because, you would normally think, it would be that way. For instance, every time I've used a triple captain, nothing. I mean, like Haaland playing against Melchester Rovers, and I'll triple captain him, and he'll do nothing. So no, there aren't. There genuinely aren't. I'm sure I have had, significantly abundant weekends point wise, but I can't recall one that sticks out. So sorry about that. I don't really keep a spreadsheet, guys. Very, very busy man.
Steve, you got a question?
No, I don't think so. No.
Moving on.
I do have a memory of. I've been to watch football with Adam.
Okay.
We went to watch Leeds play Derby once at Derby's ground.
Yes.
And Adam spent most of the match just shouting, "Shape,
shape, yeah,
shape,
shape."
And we were in the Derby end as well. I'm not sure who shouted it.
I think that's one of the words you shout at football. isn't it? To sort of,
I know you do.
yeah, I do.
To be
Yeah,
escorted out of the ground.
just gives you an air of, knowledge.
Lucy.
Yeah. Shape!
If you go to
do that
football
about every 8 or 9 minutes, and it's fine. Another one is back door! Back door! That's another good one. Those are my key buzzwords. But I do remember that game, and
I think it was 1-1, was it?
1-0, didn't they?
No, I thought it was 1-1, wasn't it?
Was it 1-1? Oh yeah, maybe it was 1-1. Or maybe
so,
you've got some kind of, you've changed it from your memory.
Maybe. I'm going to check that one out. I'm sure it was 1-1.
I know Derby went 1-up, but you might be right. It might.
Yeah, I think they might have. Was I think Steve McLaren might have been manager for.
Yeah, I think he was.
Derby then.
Yeah.
The Jamaica boss.
Yeah. So, last question before we move on then, Adam. What are you currently up to? What's the band up to? Is there anything you want to share about the Bluetones at the moment? Busy time for you guys?
It is actually quite an unusually busy time for us at the moment. Now that you ask, because we've got an EP coming out in end of September, which will be, it's like a 3-track EP, and it's our first sort of new music for a long time. I think about 13, 14 years.
Yeah.
So we've got that coming out in September, and then in October, November, we're doing a sort of big UK tour, and also Ireland. And so yeah, it is actually quite, I mean, usually I'd just say like, no, not really, nothing really happening, guys, but yeah, unusually you've caught me, and for the first time when we have actually got something to promote. So yeah, you can buy that from all the usual places you buy your music. I don't know what those are, but you can also buy it on lovely sort of coloured vinyl from our website. So yeah, thanks for the chance to plug that to your, I'm guessing, millions of listeners.
Yeah, loads.
Yeah, cool.
And it's good timing as well, because Oasis are number one in the albums, and you famously knocked them off number one once, didn't you, Adam?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we did. I don't really like to talk about that, but yeah, we did. We knocked them clean off number for 1 week, and then the normal business was resumed. But you know,
all this busyness might be detrimental to your league position anyway, Adam, I'd have thought.
Yes, well, you know, I as you know, I don't look at the league tables.
Yeah, don't look at them. Right, should we have a quiz now, Adam? What's your football knowledge like? I imagine it'd be quite good.
I think it's half decent. I mean, you know,
half decent. Well, we now play SWYW Superfan. Each week, we're going to test our guests' footballing knowledge and see how many questions they can get correct in 90 seconds. The average score so far is 3. So it's not a lot to beat.
They're quite tricky then.
Well, I don't know. We're doing the final questions similar vein to last week and the week before. And then I'm going to get a football book, which might have some easy ones. But I think they're all right this week. Steve, are you all right to do the time again? Have you got 90 seconds? Yeah, he's got the watch ready. And Chris, can you do the counting of how many Adam gets right? Are you happy to do that this week?
Yep, I've got 2 hands.
Brill. There we go. We're all good. So once I start, if you start the stopwatch as soon as I ask the first question, and then if you can kind of shout, because last week you waved at the camera and I think it was lost on me. So if you beep or shout when we get to 90 seconds.
Okay, I'll shout shape.
Brilliant. Right, are you ready, Adam?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Who was the manager of the Liverpool team that won the UEFA Champions League in 2005, coming back from a 3-0 deficit to win on penalties?
Houllier?
No, it was Rafa Benitez.
Okay.
Which team is nicknamed the Baggies?
That is West Bromwich Albion.
It certainly is. Well done. Which 2 players have won the FIFA World Cup as both captain and manager?
Didier Deschamps.
Yep.
I don't know the other one.
And Franz Beckenbauer. I think we'll give you a point for Deschamps. I think I was a bit naughty asking for 2. Which country won the UEFA European Championship in 2004, causing one of the biggest upsets in tournament history?
SWYW Bucharest?
No, this is the UEFA European Championship. So basically the Euro.
Oh, in what year?
2004.
Oh, Greece.
Yes. And in which year was VAR first introduced in official competitions?
Oh, crikey. Where are we now? So it would have been 2021?
2017.
Was it?
And
Bloody hell.
which Italian referee was known for his strict enforcement of the rules and was often referred to as the policeman of the pitch?
Collina. Pierre-Louis
Yeah.
Collina.
Yes. And which club holds the record for the most consecutive... I've started, so I've finished. Which club holds the record for the most consecutive promotions in English football, climbing from the 4th to the 1st division in just 4 seasons?
Okay. So that is either going to be Wolves, Swansea, or Wimbledon. I'm going to go Wolves.
It was one of the 3. It was Swansea.
Oh,
lucky. But you got 4, which takes you to the top of the league table. Not that you look at tables, but you're
No,
there.
I don't look at the tables, guys. But it's good. Nice to know.
You're at the top, so congratulations. Well done. You are currently the top super fan in the league based on the very small pool of people you've had.
There was a lot of pondering in that, wasn't there? He was kind of thinking a little bit too much, and the questions again were quite long.
Yeah, I'm going to find some shorter, sharper questions for sure. Why the hell they explained Euros as UEFA European Championship was a bit long-winded. So yeah, but you're on top. That's good.
I mean, if you'd appreciate some input here, what I'd suggest is you don't have the clock on and just ask people 10 questions. Yep.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, we could do that.
Then they can be as long as short as you like. Doesn't make any difference, does it? Everyone gets 10 questions. But
that's just wiped out my pass in the quiz, Adam.
Yeah. Okay. And it wiped out the 90 seconds week footballing link as well. That goes as well. Anyway, we'll consider your input and we'll see if it comes out next week.
Yeah, you might want to workshop that with you guys.
We'll have a think. We'll shoot the breeze. Let's have an update on Bletchley Scott, who the team was sponsoring. It was their opening fixture at the weekend. How do we think Bletchley Scott FC under 15 boys got on at the weekend? What do we think the score was? Do we think they won? Do we think they drew? Or do we think they lost?
Well, it's an under 15 boys game. It's going to be some mad score, isn't it? Because they always have mad scores. So I'm going to say they won 9-3.
Oh, anyone else?
I'm going to go with... Go on. You go first, Steve.
I'll go with a 5-4, and somebody was... some parents had an argument.
Chris, you want to
go? I'll go with my earlier answer and say a solid 6-all draw.
Well, one of the teams scored 6, Chris, but sadly for us this week, it wasn't Bletchley Scott. MK Wanderers under 15 Eagles 6, Bletchley Scott under 15 Orange 1. But they're not bottom of the league. They're 8th out of the 11 in the league. So obviously others did worse. But I think fair play, the only way is up. It's like a good sporting film, isn't it? Where the underdog starts badly and they're going to rise to the top.
Maybe the kit was too bright or something. And
Well, have you ordered your kit, Pete? I've ordered my kit. I've ordered a Bletchley Scott top with Sing When You're Winning on. I'll be wearing it on the pod in a couple of weeks when it comes through from the terrace.
Again, we can't all have one, or it'd be just too bright.
We might have to rotate how we wear that. I've also noticed when I say the terrace, it comes up in the subtitles as terrorist. So I have to not say it too many times. It genuinely does every time I say it. So speak properly, boy, is what they say. Let's play a game of shooting stars to round this podcast up. I know you're a busy man, Adam, and we're approaching the hour mark. So let's wind this up. Shooting Stars this week. Do you listen to the podcast, Adam? Are you familiar with this feature?
I've got to be honest, guys. Not really.
Just like the table, you don't focus.
He's a very busy man.
I'm a very busy man, guys. With my other business interests, but I'm sure I'll pick it up.
Oh, you're missing out on all the fun. But Shooting Stars,
Obviously, I will be a keen listener from now on.
For sure. That's good. But can you remember Match Magazine and Shoot Magazine? The player profiles from years ago when we asked them questions.
I'm very old. I can remember those things.
Remember that. Well, this week's Shooting Stars is actually from Match Magazine with Ally McCoist when he was at Rangers.
Right.
So, what would Ally McCoist do if he was invisible for the day? Any thoughts?
Well, maybe it's nothing too sinister.
What year did we go at?
It was when he was at Rangers. It didn't give me a year, but it would have been early 90s.
Early 90s.
I mean,
he was there for about 12 years, wasn't he?
Yeah. I think it was more early 90s.
This is 80s, 90s. McCoist, bit of a playboy, wasn't he, back in those days?
Yeah.
What would he do if he was invisible? I'm going to say he would go onto a nudist beach to observe nude people.
Sue Barker.
Sue Barker.
Well, someone's going to do us the way this is going.
Is that what his answer is, that he do Sue Barker?
No, I mean, she might be on the nudist beach.
Oh, I see. Right, okay. I mean, she was pretty tidy back in those days, to be fair.
Oh my God.
I'm definitely in this bit. Yeah. But believe it or not, Ally McCoist was a bit of a royalist. He would spend the day at Buckingham Palace.
Right. Oh my Lord. It's a bit dull.
We asked who would you like to meet. Well, we didn't. I didn't. Who would you like to meet? And the Queen was the person.
Right. I reckon every footballer around that era would have said Robert De Niro.
Except if you play for Glasgow Rangers, and then you'd say the Queen.
Yeah. So he's a very big royalist. I didn't realise. So
sorry,
there
pardon
you
my
go.
French.
What is his favourite feature in Match Magazine?
Well, this can't be something to do with the royal family, can it?
This isn't to do. No, we're moving on from the royals now. But what's his favourite feature in Match Magazine?
Spot the ball.
What's this feature? My 10 favourite things.
They do ask a lot for favourite things. They ask what his favourite food is. We won't go there.
Yeah, we're steak and chips, isn't it? Because we're all footballers.
It was pasta, believe it or not, for him. But what was his favourite feature? It was photos of himself.
Right.
That's his favourite thing. Believe it or not. Says, what do you think? If he was competing in Mastermind, what would his specialist subject be?
The royal family.
I wish it was. It's very. I don't think any of you will guess it, but have a guess.
Sue Barker.
Only fools and horses.
Sheep.
Sheep.
It is. I don't even know how to do this. It's the inside of a table tennis ball.
The what?
The inside of a table tennis ball would be a specialist subject on Mastermind. Don't ask me why. It's very, very random. If anything frightens him and why? What frightens Ally McCoist and why?
I'll say something like not scoring for 2 games in a row.
No, there is a similar question that's kind of linked along those lines, though. So you've got him sussed.
Yeah,
it's the why bit is because usually like fears are sort of generally irrational, aren't they? I don't know, heights because they're very high.
No, it's spiders because
thinking spiders.
He hates them. He really hates them. That's right.
Hate spiders, loves the Queen.
Yeah, exactly. And did he have? Well, what was his superstition? What did he always do when he was playing football?
Well, it's going to be something like put his left boot on first or second. A lot of footballers have that stuff, don't they? So one of those.
It's along those lines. Anyone else want to show?
Lucky pants.
No.
Doubling up, 2 pairs of lucky pants.
No, he would
always
would
make
always
sure
go
he's
out.
last out of the tunnel.
Oh, close. He'd always be second last out of the
Oh.
tunnel. So there you go. That was his lucky thing to do. And the last question, which if Lee was here, he would say Ford Capri. What was the first car you bought, and how much did it cost?
I mean, he was ahead of me because as soon as you said that, I was thinking Ford Capri, because that was very much the car of choice, wasn't it? I think for
It was, but none of them so far on this popular feature has been.
I'm going to go. So we're in aren't we? How about a Ford Granada?
It wasn't a Ford Granada.
Ugh.
I'm going to go with a TR7.
No.
Oh.
I would guess at a Ford Sierra.
No, it's a Datsun. A Datsun 120Y. Who knows why?
Blimey.
And how much did he pay for it, roughly? Just shout out.
£300.
Higher.
£305.
Way higher.
£1,000.
No. What did you say there, Adam?
Blimey.
I just said blimey. I didn't even.
It was 800 quid. And there we go. And that brings to an end the delight of Ally McCoist's Shooting Stars.
Well, while we're still on the Shooting Stars thing, is Adam still there? Or is he on a motorway now?
Just flying back from Dubai.
Still there, Adam?
Yeah, it's just started pissing down with rain here in Dubai. I don't know if you can hear that.
Yeah, we can hear it. Sounds quite bad.
Under a gazebo in my garden in Dubai.
Right.
And yeah, absolutely leathering down now, so that's nice. So,
Well,
but,
in the summer when we were coming up with this feature on football players or whatever it was, what do we call it, player profiles, we came across one from Derek Hales. Do you remember him?
I do remember Derek Hales, yeah.
Not sure who he was playing for at the time, but he also played for Luton, Charlton, Derby, and West Ham.
Derek Hales, yeah, he played for Charlton. The very first football game I ever went to was West Ham 4, Charlton 1. And Derek Hales scored in that game, and he was an ex-West Ham player. And he scored, and then Charlton were 4-0 down at the time, so it was like, really scant. But he scored a goal, and then he gave the finger to the North Bank, like the home end of the... And I remember that. I think I was about 7 years old at the time, but I always remember that. So, yeah, I do remember Derek Hales. I've seen the fucker score a goal and give the bird to the home end at West Ham. It's quite great.
Sounds like a legend. Well, his player profile was really good. If I could just go through his answers. His nickname at his club, none. Worst ever injury, groin. Favourite British player, none. Favourite foreign player, none.
Wow.
Favourite British side, don't have one. Favourite international team, none. Favourite away ground, don't have one. Favourite stadium at which you've played at, none in particular. Best goal you ever scored, all of them. Best goal you've seen scored, I don't have a favourite.
Jeez.
Most difficult opponents, they all have a job to do.
Wow.
Most memorable match, I don't have one. Biggest disappointment, being treated unfairly.
Oh.
Favourite other sports, golf and shooting. Miscellaneous likes, shooting.
Red flag already with Derek.
Yeah.
I think
Miscellaneous dislike, tolerating boring people.
well, that's kind of ironic, isn't it? Given his previous set of answers.
Favourite TV show, Tom and Jerry.
Right. Wow.
Favourite
Especially
actor,
shooting.
Favourite actor, Clint Eastwood. Best
Oh.
film you've seen this year. I don't go to the cinema.
Right, but you've seen Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blimey.
Superstitions, none. Favourite meal, scrambled egg. International honours, none. Personal ambition, to be happy.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I mean, I don't know what stage that was in his career, but it does sound like it was spiraling downwards, doesn't it? It sounds like it has all the hallmarks of sort of anxiety and depression. I mean, mate, put your back into it. None. Oh, well.
Maybe we should get him on and see how he's getting on.
Yeah, I'm
Let's
sure he'll have
let's
some great
track him.
answers for you.
Try and track it down. Right, this is Friday morning, but I've just had a ping on the phone to say that England and Finland have kicked off again, believe it or not. So I think we need to wrap this one up. But thank you so much, Adam, once again for joining us on the pod. I know you love listening in, so you can be on this one.
I love listening in. Send me the link, guys, because I would actually like to hear this one because I'm on it.
Yeah, it's a cracking edition. So good luck with the season. I know you'll obviously come good. We'll see. We'll be able to tell the weeks where
when I'm here,
when the hand is on the tiller.
Yeah, exactly. You'll know when I'm in Lanzarote. You'll see it.
We'll know the weeks. But
We'll have to get him back on so we can tell him where he is in the league.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that.
Nice one. But don't forget, not that you forget, Adam, you can follow us on Twitter at SWYW_FPL. If you're watching this on YouTube, Adam's been in the dark for the last 20 minutes. Why not leave us a comment or ask us an FPL question like we've had some questions in this week, and we might discuss it on next week's show where we'll be joined by another top guest. So enjoy your footballing week. Thanks to Chris and Steve as well. Keep on singing and keep on winning.